In the late 21st century, a global geoengineering project intended to stabilize the world's climate suffered a catastrophic incident in a terrorist attack. A wave of destruction and unstable mirror particles, or shadow matter, spread on wind currents across the world, causing death or mutation in organic life, the disruption of weather systems, and the creation of the strange and dangerous phenomena known as anomalies and artifacts. Most of humanity was destroyed by this disaster, either as a direct result of contamination by radioactive shadow matter, or in the collapse of society and ensuing wars fought over the green zones. The survivors now live in a world of never-ending winter, contaminated by shadow matter, and filled with inhuman threats. Remnants of civilization endure, but these safe havens are isolated and separated from each other by long reaches of dangerous, irradiated, freezing wasteland. In order for these sanctuaries to survive, a few brave souls must leave the safety of the green zones. They must face the dangers of the new frontier, the abandoned and contaminated lands, which are now known as the Dark Zone. Role. Choose your role. Then take one option each from both attached categories. Pilot. In the post-collapse world, reduced populations mean that large-scale machinery has become essential for both major construction projects and military force projection. This role is consistently filled by mechs and their pilots, whose tools often perform both industrial and combat functions. Though they rely on the support of repair and recon teams, mechs can provide an unmatched combination of power and versatility in the field. Bonus. Gain 2 additional quality assets. When you select each asset, choose Pilot, a reliable normal-sized version for your personal use, or Mech, a huge version for your machine, extremely powerful but difficult to keep maintained, fueled, and reloaded. Frame. Titan. Early workhorse of the early collapse years, though clumsy and outdated, still unmatched in power and rugged engineering. Strong, robust, durable. Vanguard. The new industry standard, a versatile mech suited to all types of operations, provides a balance of speed, strength, and resilience. Lancer. A light and agile frame with advanced servo motors, suited to work that requires mobility, finesse, or precision. Warlock. Advanced electronic warfare suite provides mobile comms, jamming, hacking, and scans for mapping, research, or artillery strikes. Core. Blast. Energy projection system fueled by a fusion reactor can act as a beam welder for advanced materials, as well as a powerful combat laser. Shield. Vector Field Effector allows the mech to protect itself and nearby allies for brief periods from kinetic assault and shadow radiation. Flight. Chemical rocket thrusters can be adjusted for VTOL hovering, brief periods of extreme mobility, or even suborbital launch velocity. Control. Onboard AI enhances data analysis and targeting. If necessary, it can be given control of the mech and can move and act independently. Commander. As conditions in the zone have become hazardous to humans, exploration and scavenge is now mostly delegated to various non-human entities, or NHEs. They operate in squads of 4 to 12, coordinated by a human officer, who typically remains in the safe zone to provide command, control, and intelligence support. Note that NHEs do not have legal rights, and as such their level of freedom is entirely at your discretion. Caution is advised. Bonus. Gain 2 additional quality assets. When you select each asset, choose Squad, 1 for each of your squad, Heavy, a high-powered version for a designated expert squad member, and Officer, an advanced, refined version for your own personal use. Squad. Humans. Hardened convicts are sometimes designated NHEs and sent into the zone, promised a chance to regain citizenship, if they survive. Chimerics. Gene-engineered animal hybrid variants, more resilient than humans, created specifically to endure the harsh conditions of the zone. Grunts. Automated soldiers with heavy armor and high firepower, the premier combat droids for brute force applications. Dolls. Androids based on general civilian models, updated with advanced military hardware and tactical sync programs for specialized operations. Operations. Recon. Scouts are needed to chart the ever-shifting frontiers of the zone, the movement of threats, and the influence of dangerous anomalies. Scavenge. Settlements still rely on a steady intake of loot and salvage from the ruins of the old world, everything from raw material to technology. Protection. VIPs who venture into the zone on logistic or scientific missions often require military escorts through dangerous regions. Assault. The zone is full of hostile forces too strong for direct confrontation, but they can be kept off balance by strikes against high-value targets. Driver. Humanity clings tenaciously to civilization in a post-collapse world, but outposts are scattered, isolated and divided. Although data can be transmitted, people, goods, and resources must travel through long reaches of hostile, contaminated dark zone. The transport network of drivers and their crews are all that maintain the fragile logistical web of what remains of society. Bonus. Choose up to 4 cargo routes. In the territory step, gain 1 additional territory and decide what cargo gets delivered to where. Food and water, medicine, fuel, resources, hazardous materials, weapons, luxury goods, research samples, artifacts. Your choice. Ride. Hauler. A rugged fossil fuel truck made for towing super heavy transport in extreme conditions. Workhorse of regular cargo routes. Rover. Large vehicle with shelter for crew on long-term missions deep into the zone, such as scouting, salvage, deliveries, or anomaly research. Jeep. Light utility truck for all-terrain transport and support duties. Versatile and mobile in any conditions. Interceptor. A relic of the old days, powerful and sleek, provides minimal protection and cargo space, but unrivaled in speed and agility. Mod. Comfy. Cozy, heated interior, with your choice of amenities. Enough space for you and a few friends to travel in comfort on a journey. Rugged. Breakdowns in the zone are dangerous, but your vehicle is durable, reliable, and easy to repair, so you can always get back on the road. Fast. Your ride packs a powerful monster of an engine, that lets you outhaul and outpace any similar vehicle out there. Armed. Mounted gun turrets, missile launchers, or other heavy weapons of your choice are rigged to your vehicle. Purely for self-defense, of course. Agent. Agents are those bold enough to confront the Dark Zone directly. Though they may sometimes use androids, mechs, or vehicles when needed, an agent will always rely on themselves in the end. They are entrusted with many duties that require the flexibility of boots on the ground. Exploring the frontiers of the zone, investigating reports of anomalies and artifacts, skirmishing with bandits and rogue drones, or delivering supplies to isolated outposts. Whatever it is that needs to be done, they'll get it done. Bonus. Gain 1 additional artifact or contact. Gain 1 additional major threat, or intensify 1 more minor threat. Suit. Exo. Powerful exoskeleton provides durable armor and enhances physical abilities such as strength, stamina, and running speed. Tactical. Synthetic fiber armor, with lots of straps and pockets for gear and ammo. Combines protection with lightweight and freedom of movement. Link. Shielded resonant chamber contains and amplifies an artifact, increasing its effects and enhancing the user's cast abilities. Cyber. A suit or prosthetic that directly links with the user's nervous system, improves reaction speed, and human-machine interfacing. Rig. Smart Tech. Smart Link system partly automates your gear, providing augmented AR HUD, improved targeting, and swifter item use. Cargo. A durable, gyro-stabilized backpack can help transport vital deliveries into terrain impossible to vehicles. PSC. Portable Standard Constructor. Field printers able to fashion raw materials into fabricated structures, such as bridges, shelters, and signal towers. Hazmat. Most agents carry gear to monitor and protect against contamination, but only a few are prepared to endure the worst of the zone. Volta. Those who venture into the zone can only do so with help. Beyond the major settlements, travelers must rely on the support of a network of small outposts, from solitary bunkers to bustling trading posts. Each of these vaults is a self-sufficient stronghold, protecting those within from the dangers of the zone as best they can. The owners and residents of these refuges are often called Vaulters, and they provide vital aid to zone travelers in the form of sanctuary and safety, as well as other services such as logistics, recreation, research, and, if necessary, strategic defense. Bonus. Gain 1 additional role option from any role. Outer Facility. Way Station. A place for travelers to stop and rest a while. You might provide simple pleasures like drinks, food and music, or something more exotic. Garage. Maintain and repair vehicles and mechs. Help drivers and pilots modify and customize their rides with new systems, weapons, and paint jobs. Security. All vaulters have alarms and defenses. Some take this as far as they can, with heavy reinforced doors and automated weapons. Array. Send and receive messages from the remaining functional satellites in orbit, allowing long-range communications and surface imaging. Central Facility. Factory. Automated fabricators turn resources into complex goods, such as building materials, chemicals, spare parts, or computer chips. Lab. Scientific equipment analysis and observation of shadow matter. You might focus on medical aid to the infected, or research into anomalies. Luxury suite. In a world of sickness and desperation, your private chambers are dedicated to preserving what beauty, art, and pleasure remains. Rocket silo. Launch orbital communication satellites if you seek to build peace and consensus, or ballistic missiles if you don't. Affiliation. 4 factions of survivors, deadlocked in a balance of power, have become allies out of necessity. Though competition for territory and resources sometimes flares up into isolated skirmishes, the leaders understand that the zone holds much greater threats than each other. Joint task forces, formed of specialized personnel from different organizations, are seen as a necessity, considering the extreme risks of zone exploration. Choose one affiliation. Gain both technology bonuses for your assets in the next section. Federation. Leader, General Lance Carter. History. Successor state of the previous world's governments and armed forces, the United Federation represents the few enduring bastions of the old world. Organized along military principles, their primary goal is to rebuild civilization and society by pushing back the borders of the zone, clearing an area of threats, cleansing contamination, and expanding their fortified territory and resource extraction sites. They believe that slowly but surely, we can rebuild. Technology. Fusion power and metallurgy. Gear is based on enhanced versions of the classics, sometimes heavy and bulky, but always sturdy, powerful, and reliable. Titanite. Advanced metallurgical alloys. Enhances the toughness of vehicles and armor asset. Sapphire wire. Superconducting fibers. Enhances the output power of assets that use electronics. Oracle Link. Leader, Dr. Evangeline Snow. History. Created in the early days of the collapse as a collaborative medical group, Oracle has survived the disintegration of its founding companies and nations to become an independent corpo-state, dedicated to researching Helix sickness and its treatment. They also supply advanced goods in medicine, biotech and artifact technology, and maintain a small, elite private military force of enhanced agents and casters, charged with protecting VIPs, field researchers, and crucial deliveries. Technology. Advanced refinement techniques of chemical compounds give access to a variety of drugs for medicine, performance enhancement, or improved casting. Sugar 6. Eat to temporarily enhance casting. Tastes great, but try to avoid using it as a snack. Hematics. A highly refined organic chemical that stimulates regeneration, enhances biochemical assets. Syndicate. Leader, Ms. Chen Zhao. History. A black market consortium formed from PMCs, arms dealers, weapons researchers, and android manufacturers. The Gold Dragon Syndicate has risen to establish its own stronghold and territory amidst the chaos of the zone. External threats are met by android soldiers fielding advanced weapon systems, but the threat to stability comes from within, as the scattered human clans are riven by lethal intrigues that prevent the Syndicate from fully uniting. Technology. Machinery, automation, miniaturization. Gear is based on complex new technology. Advanced and efficient, but finicky and difficult to refuel or repair. G&K weapons. Advanced munitions and iterative combat designs. Enhances the power and precision of weapons. Flip drive. Miniaturized quantum computer device. Enhances the calculating speed of assets that use computers. Loner. Leader. None. History. Those who join no faction, operating in the zone by themselves. Some form up into small groups or squads, and most hold a shred of loyalty to their fellow loners, backing them up against the other factions, if necessary. But they remain a fragmented band of nomads and wanderers. Loners live by their own code, free of the structures that govern the lives of others, but lack the support and companionship that comes from allying with a larger organization. Technology. Scrounging and scavenging. Gear is jury-rigged from whatever can be found. Bits and pieces of the old and new worlds. Anything that works or can be repaired. Rare scavenge. Only loners know where to find the most obscure and valuable loot from the pre-collapse world. Hazard resist. A material that resists shadow radiation. Improves contamination and anomaly resistance of clothes or armor. Assets. Those who survive in the zone know how to scrounge or trade for what they need in a pinch. Take any number of worn down, low quality, unreliable, or jury-rigged items. Solid, dependable gear is harder to come by. Guns that don't jam, tools that don't break. Luxuries worth living for. These are what matters. Choose 4 high-quality assets. These are reliable, a sure thing when you need them. Spend 1 additional choice on a quality asset to make it an exotic asset, the product of unique advanced technology, and clearly the best of its kind around. Alloy plating. New metals formed from shadow matter bombardment have led to the production of a new generation of armor, durable, lightweight, and highly resistant to weapon attacks. Hazard seal. As a layer to clothing or armor to guard against biohazards and radiation. Reliable shielding from shadow matter is still a challenge for engineers, but this will provide significant conventional CBRN defense. Cold weather gear. Protection against cold and moisture. Thick clothes are enough for short periods outdoors, but this is necessary to endure the freezing temperatures of long-term exposure or snowstorms. Badass coat. The right coat can lend one an air of authority in a chaotic world. Whether it's an officer's greatcoat or a gunslinger's duster, your attire inspires you to feel in charge, and others to follow your lead. Mobility jets. The difficulties of navigating earthquake-broken urban environments have led to the development of personal thrusters. Enables double jumps, air dashing, and more with experience. Assault rifle. The AR-53 is the new standard for combat arms. Multiple fire modes, higher rate of fire and stopping power, reliable and easily fixable. A versatile weapon useful for nearly any combat situation. Marksman rifle. The old-fashioned DMR-7 is popular with those who prefer a classic style. Combines range and accuracy to strike from a distance, eliminating key targets or hazards before they become a problem. Shotgun. The RC-80 is a fully automatic shotgun, Devastating and powerful. Kicks like a mule when firing. The ultimate room sweeper for those who prefer close encounters. Handgun. For a compact and efficient personal defense weapon, pack the PF9 pistol. Though shorter range compared to bigger guns, it is far easier to maneuver, carry and conceal, and can be used with one hand. Machine gun. Heavy anti-personnel weapon. Long range, high rate of fire. Typically mounted to mechs, a scaled-down version has been designed for the few human-sized operatives who have the strength to use it. Plasma. An experimental energy weapon using shadow matter as a power source. Fires devastating plasma bolts with practically limitless ammo, with the significant downside of potential user contamination. Launcher. Heavy anti-vehicle weapon. Fires high-explosive shape-charge heat missiles intended to penetrate armor. Smart link targeting system allows the operator to home in on mid-range targets. Sword. Advances in shade-forged metallurgy have produced blades of extremely hardened ferrovanadium, capable of slicing through any armor besides similarly alloyed plating. Smokes. Grenades that generate thick smoke in a variety of colors. These can be used for screening your movements, signaling, or marking a target or landing zone. Grapple. Pilots and field agents unsatisfied with jets devised even more extreme methods of rapid travel to hard-to-reach places, also pioneering the rodeo, an especially daring counter-mech tactic. Pulse. A recon device that sends out a detection pulse. This creates a basic map of the local terrain and elevation, and detects movement or biological signals in the area, marking the position of potential hostiles. Scanners. Detection and analysis of mirror particles is an imperfect science, but these devices will provide warnings of contamination zones and grant rudimentary knowledge of an anomaly's effects without resorting to empirical tests. Codec. Though coverage is unreliable, the few functional radio towers and transponder satellites that remain can grant periods of long-range transmissions with this device, open or encrypted. Medkit. A multi-purpose first aid kit, designed for those in the field, away from easy medical aid. Portable, but still prepared for any situation, with everything from bandages to the latest in Oracle pharmaceuticals. Stimpack. An in-field chemical delivery system loaded with your choice of Oracle products. Can deliver anything from combat stimulants to athletic performance enhancers to recreational drugs. Repair kit. Breakdowns and equipment damage is a fact of life in the harsh environments of the zone. This carries the tools you need for a basic patch job, or jury rig on anything from a pistol to a truck engine. Research kit. Sometimes taking a sample back to a laboratory is difficult, expensive, or dangerous. In those cases, a researcher in the field would do well to carry these portable scanning and analysis devices. Media player. Morale is vital when exploring the zone, and your favourite songs can keep you in high spirits. This contains playable records of a huge collection of pre-collapsed videos, music, and games. Cash. After years of economic crisis, the syndicate's introduction of a new currency has enabled some recovery. This is enough for 2 good quality assets, but you'll need to find the right supplier first. Luxury goods. Despite the devastation, this world still has fine things to partake of. You can trade this for a high price to discerning customers, share it with friends, or keep it yourself to take the edge off. Car. Once ubiquitous in the old world, these vehicles struggle in the now frequent hazardous or uneven terrain, but on open ground or an intact road system, they make transport safe, fast, and stylish. Jet bike. This bike offers high mobility, at the cost of everything else. Fragile if damaged, low weight capacity, expensive to fuel, but is fast as hell, and isn't slowed down by rocks, sludge, or other difficulties. Safe house. A small but secure holding in the wilds of the zone, with basic amenities and recycling. Can be used as a stopover on a travel route, a hidden bolt hole for emergencies, or even a home. Lodgings. A place in one of the major strongholds, usually provided as part of a contractor's fee for ongoing service, so there are strings attached, but this is as safe and comfortable as it gets these days. Heritage. A relic of another life once lived. Take an additional option from any role. This equipment is old and weather-beaten, but can still be relied on. Artifacts. Strange objects formed of shadow matter can be found at the center of anomalies. These are called artifacts, and can be used as catalysts to cast, causal antiparticle suppression technique, granting abilities, which often appear magical. Overuse or careless handling can cause shadow radiation poisoning or helix. Those afflicted with helix can use the mirror particles infecting their bodies to enhance casting, but accelerate their disease by doing so. Choose one artifact for yourself. You may exchange this for an additional quality asset. After you complete the contact section, choose 2 of your contacts and give each one an artifact. Fire. The ability to directly influence the combustion reactions of oxygen atoms. Though taxing on the user, these are the strongest artifacts in raw destructive potential. Lightning. Extracts electromagnetic charge from infraspace, the younger hypersphere within our universe. Useful both as a disruptive offensive weapon and as a power recharger. Cold. Shunts energy into infraspace, leading to rapid decrease of temperature. Precise use can create or shape ice, while expanding control can affect local weather systems. Growth. Though most of the world is now a wasteland, a few seeds of life remain. Some rare souls have the gift of accelerating biological rejuvenation, nourishing the withered, and healing the wounded. Kinesis. Manipulate and interact with matter by applying force at a distance. Push, pull, pick up, and throw. A novice user could lift a handheld object, while a powerful veteran could pick up a large vehicle. Phase. Temporarily shift into infraspace, leaving a ghost image behind and becoming intangible and invisible for several seconds of movement. Levitation. Alter the effects of gravity on an entity's mass, allowing objects to become weightless and float. With practice, can be used on oneself for basic flight capabilities. Shadow. Control, generate, or amplify shadow radiation and anomalies, granting extremely dangerous abilities. Has potential for long-term fallout effects, damaging the matter universe. Contacts. Choose 4. A partner or assistant who will have your back in a tough spot. A work associate, collaborating with you on an ongoing contract. A friend and confidant who you can relax and share stories with. A stubborn rival with similar ambitions, but an opposing cause. Storm. Chimeric. Federation. Strength B. Mobility C. Endurance A. Combat A. Tactics B. Cast A. Rising star from the Federation Security Forces, now detached for special operation deployments. Defense expert, bodyguard, experienced caster, pointwoman. Will keep you alive despite your best efforts. Maintains professional discipline and a stoic demeanor. Sometimes too stoic as she struggles to express herself. Julia. Human. Federation. Strength B. Mobility A. Endurance B. Combat A. Tactics A. Cast C. Experienced zone roamer, scout and sharpshooter. Formerly a decorated officer with the Federation's Mobile Expeditionary Force, a classified incident led to her reassignment to Joint Task Force duties. Knows how to find a good scavenging spot or sniper patch. Intense, methodical and focused, has witty nicknames for everyone. Colt. Human. Federation. Strength B. Mobility A. Endurance B. Combat A. Tactics B. Cast C. A Vanguard pilot, certified for all levels of combat both inside the mech and out of it. A rebellious streak and cavalier attitude often puts him at odds with Federation leadership, but he remains their best option for dangerous missions into contested hot zones. Inventive, resourceful, thrill-seeking. Merrill. Human. Federation. Strength D. Mobility B. Endurance C. Combat B. Tactics S. Cast B. Daughter of a renowned Federation officer who died in the line of duty. Having taken over his position as commander of a zone combat squad, she wants to live up to his legacy, but struggles to balance her duty to the Federation with the safety of those she commands. Spends long hours writing detailed reports, plans, and contingencies. Henry. Human. Federation. Strength B. Mobility C. Endurance A. Combat C. Tactics B. Cast C. Once a construction crew foreman and ice driver, now lead manager and coordinator for the Federation's rebuilding teams. Demands a lot from his workers, but makes sure they have the support they need. Gruff and businesslike on the job, but off-duty, can be convinced over drinks to tell wild stories from his trucking days. V9. Android. Federation. Strength C. Mobility B. Endurance B. Combat B. Tactics C. Cast A. A research and scouting android who uses a small team of airborne drones to map out and analyze contamination zones and anomalies. Discerning, perceptive, considerate. Maintains a historical database of pre-collapsed cultural works. Her favorites are old sci-fi movies. Helena. Human. Oracle. Strength B. Mobility A. Endurance A. Combat S. Tactics B. Cast A. Squad Captain in Oracle's elite VIP protection team. Specialist in close combat, using a pair of unique shade-forged alloy swords. Though rumour suggests some connection to Dr. Snow, it is clear from her abilities and ambitions that her position is not due solely to favour. Projects confidence and charisma when directing her team, but awkward in personal matters. Midnight. Chimeric. Oracle. Strength B. Mobility A. Endurance C. Combat A. Tactics A. Cast A. Transporter operative for Oracle Prime, a delivery service that specializes in dangerous items or locations. She will pick up or deliver goods even to a live fire hot zone, for an exorbitant hazard fee, of course. Taciturn, patient, observant. Self-assured and unruffled in the face of danger. Do not scratch her ears without permission. Red. Human. Oracle. Strength C. Mobility B. Endurance B. Combat B. Tactics B. Cast A. One of Oracle's top field medics, well trained in any and all procedures that could keep someone breathing. She's here to help people, and genuinely believes in Oracle's mission, hoping that someday those infected with Helix can be cured. Steadfast and composed under fire, but God help you if you interrupt her during her coffee break. T8. Android. Oracle. Strength C. Mobility B. Endurance C. Combat B. Tactics A. Casting B. A communications expert who uses unique sonic technology to facilitate long-range and encrypted transmissions across the wilderness of the zone, despite the physics-scrambling effects of anomalies. Dynamic, engaging, motivated. Hosts an interview cast with a wide variety of guests, everyone from high-ranking officials to hardened lone wolves, to conspiracy theorists. Katya. Human. Oracle. Strength D. Mobility C. Endurance C. Combat B. Tactics A. Cast C. The Supply and Logistics Department of Oracle Inc. owes much of its smooth running to this woman. Her efficient handling of limited resources keeps orders for the company's specialized products filled, despite the hazards of delivery through the zone. Expressive, savvy, has a good read on people. Stylish wardrobe. Mina. Chimeric. Oracle. Strength C. Mobility B. Endurance C. Combat B. Tactics A. Cast B. Lead researcher in Oracle's Helix program, searching both for treatments to mitigate the mutative effects of the sickness and for the elusive cure that might halt or even reverse the chain reaction of conversion to shadow matter. Caring, protective, fiercely intelligent, she can be trusted to balance her compassion with pragmatic concerns. A great cook, even with limited supplies. SD6. Android. Syndicate. Strength B. Mobility B. Endurance A. Combat A. Tactics S. Cast C. Commando, specialized in rapid deployment and covert operations, with high infiltration and combat skills. Sensor and analysis package provides detailed information on potential threats. Determined and protective, all business on the job, but otherwise has a mischievous sense of humor, and is fond of small pranks here and there. Anya. Chimeric. Syndicate. Strength B. Mobility A. Endurance A. Combat A. Tactics A. Cast C. One of the Syndicate's most dangerous sharpshooters, an expert sniper who can wait unmoving for days if needed, seems to be able to communicate with the surviving dogs and wolves that still roam the zone, using them as scouts and lookouts. Cheerful, optimistic, kind and supportive. IS-5. Android. Syndicate. Strength C. Mobility B. Endurance B. Combat B. Tactics A. Cast A. An engineer pilot who builds and maintains her own Lancer variant mech, insisting that only she can understand the on-the-fly adjustments necessary to keep the machine's advanced cooling and energy distribution systems at full efficiency. Focuses on rescue and construction over combat. Quiet, open-minded, curious. Amateur game dev. Matilda. Chimeric. Syndicate. Strength S. Mobility C. Endurance A. Combat A. Tactics B. Cast A. Field commander of a chimeric squad, specialized in casting, using powerful artifact abilities along with heavy conventional weaponry for overwhelming firepower. A passionate spirit drives her forward and inspires her team. Tempestuous, easily angered, but just as easily turns sweet from flattery or bribes. Keeps a vlog diary. Carranza. Human. Syndicate. Strength A. Mobility C. Endurance C. Combat A. Tactics C. Cast A. A chemist aiming to refine new compounds from shadow matter, alter materials. His work is ostensibly for medicinal purposes, but connections with the Syndicate's advanced weapons research programs suggest otherwise. Clever, chaotic, and disordered. A hot mess. Watch what you touch in his laboratory. Maybe. Human. Syndicate. Strength D. Mobility C. Endurance D. Combat C. Tactics B. Cast S. A quiet, gentle demeanor belies a scientific intellect determined to unravel the mysteries of the zone, and a habit of morbid jokes. Her helix infection empowers an already extremely potent casting ability, making her extremely dangerous despite her frail body. An expert when it comes to salvage and research in highly contaminated areas. Ivan. Human, unknown. Loner. Strength S. Mobility D. Endurance A. Combat A. Tactics B. Cast D. A huge mysterious man who rarely speaks or removes his helmet, but his actions prove him to be a force to be reckoned with. His antiquated but durable armor and equipment suit, his style of always going straight forward, suddenly smashing his way through opposition and obstacles. Enjoys a quiet drink after a job. Max. Chimeric. Loner. Strength A. Mobility A. Endurance A. Combat A. Tactics B. Cast C. Once a soldier for a former rival to the Federation, when they resorted to weaponizing Helix, she destroyed the project. Now she has a small band of rovers and outcasts, rebellious chimerics, rogue androids, human exiles, anyone with no place to call home but the zone. Her languid manner belies her fierce, reckless, and destructive power in battle. Burn. Human. Loner. Strength B. Mobility C. Endurance B. Combat A. Tactics A. Caste C. A veteran with an infamous past. Rumour has it she was the sole survivor of a battle between rival bands of pilots. Now claiming to be retired, she uses her first-gen Titan strength for engineering and construction projects, tirelessly working long hours. A rough exterior hides a passionate heart, scarred by memories of war. Gearhead. Human. Loner. Strength C. Mobility B. Endurance C. Combat C. Tactics C. Caste C. An engine and machinery enthusiast who runs a small garage where she repairs and modifies vehicles, machines, and cybernetics. Cheerful and strong-willed, always puts heart and creativity into her work, though this means she can be pushy about adding unusual and unrequested upgrades to field test new ideas. Varya. Chimeric. Loner. Strength C. Mobility S. Endurance A. Combat C. Tactics C. Caste C. An avian chimeric who provides a specialized air delivery service to bypass hazardous terrain. For vital letters and packages into difficult areas, she is the zone's most reliable post carrier. Used to a life alone in the skies, she has a kind heart, but can be shy and awkward in conversation. The news. Human. Unknown. Loner. Strength D. Mobility C. Endurance C. Combat C. Tactics C. Caste B. An elusive figure who stays hidden by using a decentralized broadcasting network. She keeps the denizens of the zone up to date with all the latest stories, radiation currents, anomaly resonance, battle reports, scandals, and occasionally music or radio dramas. It's unclear how she gets her information, but she always seems too up to date. Ace. Dog. Strength C. Mobility B. Endurance B. Combat B. Tactics D. Caste not available. The collapse event was unkind to animals. Of man's best friend, only a few rugged survivors remain. This one is yours, loyal and true. With his speed, a nose for sniffing out trouble, and skill at staying low to the ground, he makes a great point man, scout, and sentry. Eats a lot, but his stomach seems to be able to handle anything. Whiskey. Cat. Strength D. Mobility A. Endurance C. Combat C. Tactics A. Caste not available. An urban roamer, at home in the post-collapse streets. Despite an aloof manner, typical of cats, a little extra food can be used as motivation to perform useful feats of stealth and subterfuge. The ability to walk silently or slip into small spaces makes obtaining something guarded or out of reach much easier. BD1. Drone. Strength B. Mobility D. Endurance S. Combat D. Tactics D. Caste not available. Despite its unassuming appearance, this construction bot is capable of breaking down or assembling anything, from a computer chip to a bridge, if given the components. The AI does not have advanced language programming, but it is friendly, inquisitive, and has a habit of finding and collecting various knickknacks of pre-collapse culture. OBZ. Drone. Strength D. Mobility A. Endurance C. Combat B. Tactics C. Caste not available. Once part of an aerial surveillance network, this drone has been reconfigured by an unknown party to act independently, or perhaps is simply malfunctioning, which would explain its quirky behavior and stubborn streak. Long-range camera and flight abilities make it an excellent scout and observer, and port scanning software allows it to bypass electronic locks. Territory. Choose one to be your home ground. Choose two more to explore, scavenge, research, or travel through. Grasslands. Huge areas of terrain were devastated by shadow matter events and turned into blasted wastelands of volcanic ash. Many of these regions are slowly regrowing, with simple grasses and insects taking up residence again. A desolate, peaceful land with little in the way of terrain hazards or dangerous wildlife, but if caught out by enemies, you will be highly visible and have little cover. Snowfields. In certain areas, disruptions in soil permafrost, due to mirror particle interaction, has led to the formation of new hydrocarbon compounds underground. Early research has shown high potential for new chemicals and energy sources. Industrial extraction efforts are already underway, despite the challenges of travel and road maintenance across the constantly shifting ice and snows. Mountains. High-altitude areas hold a number of opportunities for re-establishing comm arrays, weather analysis and satellite links, as well as mineral deposits transformed into new substances by shadow radiation. However, these regions present extreme difficulty to transport and logistics. Expeditions will require all-terrain transport, robust environmental protection, and a good amount of luck. Oil slicks. Formerly a place of industrial ports and refineries, the destruction of pipelines and rigs during the collapse caused massive oil spills, leading to ecological devastation. The very ground here is toxic, but with the proper safeguards and hazard protection, scavengers are able to salvage valuable fuel and machinery from these industrial sites. Shoreline. These maritime coasts were once home to port cities and trade routes, and the sandy beaches were renowned as a destination for travellers. During the shadow particle wave, the land avoided direct exposure, but the seas became badly contaminated. Rumours have spread of monsters that come ashore on the waves, aquatic mutations of the pelagic depths. Perhaps avoiding contact with such creatures would be for the best. Villages. An agricultural region that suffers from only mild contamination levels, but a high concentration of anomaly sites. Because of this, the region has become a battleground between clashing groups of scavengers, fighting over artifacts and the remaining supplies. Food is still relatively easy to scrounge here, and valuable artifacts can be found easily, but travellers can easily stumble into a gunfight or a dangerous anomaly. City. The cities of the pre-collapse world, once thriving hubs of commerce and culture, now little more than skeletons of glass and steel, their high-rise towers serving only as monuments to man's hubris, as well as the occasional sniper perch. Bands of looters are especially prevalent and dangerous here, but braving the risk can reward unique scavenging opportunities for pre-collapse technology or cultural relics. Metro. Below the streets of the old world's major cities lie sprawling subterranean networks of hollow tunnels, once used as mass transit systems. These dark, dangerous places are filled with bandit clans, mutants, and other unknown hazards, but they can offer shelter, valuable scavenge, and a straight path of travel to those intrepid enough to enter the foreboding depths. Level 4 Zone. The contamination levels of a region are rated on a scale of 1 to 5. The most devastated areas, ranked as Level 5, are not survivable by any known being or machine. However, Level 4 zones can be endured for a short time, with the most potent shielding available. Only the most urgent or foolish of operations will be carried out here. Outposts. Each faction maintains armed and fortified strongholds on the borders of their territory. Though none of the major threats of the zone have yet to muster their full strength in an all-out attack, probing assaults and sieges are all too frequent, fought back by the soldiers of these outposts at great cost in blood and resources. The soldiers of these outposts must make sacrifices to keep their homes safe. Sprawl. Outside the walls of the green zones, but still within the relative safety of the outposts, live those who can't face the dangers of the dark zone, but aren't admitted to the inner sanctums. Outcasts, rebels, criminals, unlicensed chimerics and androids, helix-sick or mutants. Chaotic and lawless, these are dangerous but thriving lairs of villains, in which one could find nearly anything for the right price. Green Zone. The innermost sanctums of civilization. Radiation-clean areas sheltered behind massive walls. Luxury and beauty can be found here, but beneath the gleaming surface lie other dangers. Strict laws are enforced by cyberized soldiers, while elites conspire and backstab for ambition, greed, and pride. After too much time here, the simple brutality of the Dark Zone may seem appealing once more. Minor threats. You have all of these, like it or not. Choose one to weaken, becoming easier to handle and more infrequent. Choose one to intensify, hitting hard and often, a persistent thorn in your side. Looters. Small bands of survivors willing to take what they need. Typically equipped with only basic firearms, they rely on numbers and intimidation to overwhelm civilian travelers or lone vaulters. Usually not a significant challenge to a veteran zone explorer, but can be encountered almost anywhere, and ambushes or overwhelming forces will be dangerous. Weather. Most of the world has plunged into permanent winter, with gentle snowfall becoming the default weather. A zone explorer will consistently be fighting freezing temperatures and low visibility. Storms and blizzards are common, and in highly irradiated areas they can transform into catastrophic, irradiating blowouts. Seek shelter from these immediately. Contamination. The properties of mirror particles are still mostly unknown to science, but effects on biological entities are dramatic and harmful. Direct contact or prolonged exposure can inflict helix, a sickness which is really a chain reaction of destabilizing molecules. It causes severe and unpredictable results, sometimes including major physiological alteration, leading to the creation of mutants. Anomalies. Within the zone are places where the laws of nature have become corrupted, unleashing unknown forces. An unwary traveller passing within the influence area of an anomaly might be burned, shocked, corroded, spatially distorted, or worse. But within them can be found the shards called artifacts, which empower the strange ability called casting. So many explorers take their chances. Major threats. Choose 3. Assign each a home territory. Threats can share territory and will clash with each other over it. Halo Corp. A wealthy plutocratic state that has embraced the coldness of the New World. Heartless and driven, motivated only by profit, they are completely dedicated to greed and ambition, taking and holding resources and slaves with their cyberized security forces. Rumors say the members of the board of directors have achieved a fully cybernetic, post-human state, but are plagued by infighting. Red Lion. Heavily armed PMC dedicated to fighting and cleansing the Dark Zone by any means necessary. They exterminate anyone they believe to be contaminated by the zone, or to be consorting with its mysterious forces, a designation which includes everyone other than themselves. They are unremittingly hostile to outsiders, seeing even healthy survivors as potential vectors to be cleansed. Reavers. Without environmental shelters to protect them from shadow radiation, those forced to live outside the settlements and vaults are driven to brutal extremes by mutation and madness. The worst of these end up forming roving gangs of insane, violent raiders, who unleash their savage aggression on anyone they catch while roaming the zone, deriving sick pleasure from torturing their victims. Rogues. A subversive network of spies and traitors, led by a former agent of the Federation. Disgusted with what they see as indecisive efforts to combat the threats of the zone, these turncoats aim to seize control of the factions and take matters into their own hands. Even one of your own contacts could be a subversive agent, deceiving you to gain your trust until the time is right. Thanatos. A terrorist organization with enigmatic goals. Hiding beneath golden masks, when a member's identity is exposed, they are often found to be agents and pilots thought to be deceased. Some theorize that renegade explorers have discovered how to exploit the nature of the zone to cheat death. This would also explain their operatives' seemingly careless use of utilizing their own contamination to empower casting. Liberation. The CLF, or Chimeric Liberation Front, is a revolutionary group dedicated to freeing the bioengineered hybrids from oppression. As NHEs, Chimerics undeniably suffer from rights issues, and are sometimes treated as expendable resources. But the COF's extreme methods, including forced recruitment, biological warfare, and scorched earth tactics, compel many to take a stand against what might otherwise be considered a noble cause. Zombies. Along with physical symptoms, Helix-infected often suffer symptoms of severe mental degradation and increased aggression. Those who suffer these effects but survive, without significant alteration from baseline human form, are called zombies. There were attempts to classify them in more scientific terms, but habits born from old movies and video games won out in the end. Mutants. Extreme cases of helix sickness can lead to significant physiological changes, unbound by the usual laws of conservation of mass. These are many variants with unpredictable and dangerous effects, ranging from rapid growth, new limbs and appendages, or even control over forces and energy, in the same manner as artifacts and casting. Hive. The precise origin of these creatures is unknown, but they appear to be once ordinary plants and animals, genetically altered and assimilated by a mutated parasite. Infected creatures collectively form a superorganism structure, defending and expanding the territory of the infection, and unless checked, it will rapidly proliferate, consuming and transmuting all life in its path. Consortium. A scientific institute of heavily cyberized researchers and engineers. Their goal is to preserve humanity, but their idea of what still counts as human is wildly different from what most people would consider sane or reasonable. Captives have been known to suffer forced conversion into cyborg slaves or neural parallel processors, their brains harnessed in electronic servitude. Machine beasts. The product of a rogue geoengineering AI, Tiamat, whose intended purpose was to use robotic drones to cleanse contaminated areas, then reseed extinct species into those regions. Clearly, the AI's definition of a living animal is imperfect, as it is now building and releasing vast numbers of these animalistic machines, which react with hostility and aggression to biological life. Overmind. The Syndicate once attempted to create an AI overseer, which would coordinate and synchronize the actions of android squads at a distance. It was a disaster. When first switched on, the program immediately converted its linked androids into remote drones and slaughtered their human support staff. It has since started converting its territory into a manufacturing base to continue its war on humanity. Ambition. Choose one. Connect. Civilization remains, but its remnants are scattered, separated by the zone, divided by rivalries. Someone needs to bring our people together again, to unite humanity once more. Rebuild roads, refound nations, share ideas, and look towards a new future for ourselves. Advance. Explorers are still finding new metals, fuels, chemicals, and isotopes formed by shadow matter reactions. Anomalies and artifacts defy the laws of known science. Destruction brings change, and with it, new resources to discover, new technologies to craft, and new frontiers to explore. Dominate. With the old orders broken, someone must grasp the reins of power and steer the course of civilization. Only strength can keep what remains of civilization safe. Humanity needs a leader to unite it against the zone, or force them to embrace it. Transcend. Shadow radiation, anomalies, artifacts, all of it points to a deeper truth. The zone is not merely a hostile wilderness, but a conduit. Our world is connected to a higher dimension, and only those with the insight to see it can walk the path that now lies open to ascension. Survive. Grand designs and lofty dreams are for others. To survive, to get by one day at a time, is the only realistic goal in this new world. Some attempt to protect those they're close to, or an ideal they hold. Some just hope to stay alive to see tomorrow. Take an additional high-quality asset if you're subscribed to the channel, and like and leave a comment on the video. It helps me out. Take a free choice of anything if you're a YouTube member, or if you support me on Patreon. I really appreciate that too.